Let me know this ever goes live. You're streaming. You're streaming.
Please rise.
Let me know if it changes.
Okay, which flag?
It's real. Oh, yeah, we can do that. Good point. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our armed forces and first responders. Call the meeting order. Welcome everybody to the October meeting. First off, I'd like to thank the Historical Society for having us here. It's quite a treat coming here every year. So first matters of business, we'll accept the minutes of the meeting on September 17th, 2024.
I'll motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Recommend action, the following claims be approved and the clerk to draw the checks. Motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. So as normal, I open up to public discussion. Ms. Kirsch is here to discuss some matters.
Do we stand or should I?
Whatever you want to do. You can do a dance, jiggle, whatever you want to do.
Well,
You can sit if you like, whatever makes you comfortable.
You guys seem friendly, so I'll stay sitting unless you can't see me. But I'm Jessica Kirsch. I'm the plant administrator at Hillcrest. And a couple of weeks ago, it was brought to my attention that there was some concerns, I believe at this level with your last meeting, that there was glass on Main Street. And at first, we weren't really sure what was going on. So I actually, on my morning walks, kind of walked around, and it was great because the sun was coming down, so I could see exactly what was glimmering. And I immediately called and got right on the list for you guys today because I wanted to get in front of anybody that did have concerns and let you know that in our book it's not cool, that's not acceptable, and we're taking care of it. There's a couple of things. Immediately Derek went out with the sweeper and picked everything up. Mostly got road grit, so if you really like how nice it looked, we can run our sweeper up and down the road for you. But there were some pieces that I grabbed on my walk, and I did want to bring them to you that I found a couple of these little guys. So with this size, I think what was happening is our trucks that come in, they're coming down the street, no glass on them. They're going out into our bunker where they dump, they're catching them on the treads of their tires. And then as they come out, they're gaining just that much speed pulling off the road, the flex of the tire, and it's falling out of the tread right on the edge. So it's not something that's falling off of them. We're not unloading them incorrectly. However, it's something that still needed to be addressed. So it's definitely something we're talking to the guys about, making sure that we're not bringing it onto the street. And I just really want everyone to know that when I'm walking in the mornings, I'm picking up the Twisted Tea cans I see on Walnut Street from whoever's truck. I noticed somebody dumped a bunch of garbage in the parking lot at the church, and I thought it was for donations, except it got rained on 2 or 3 times. So I'm gonna go grab that and throw it in our dumpster because it's just cardboard boxes broken down, TVs that got wet. So I live in Strikersville. I'm here in Attica more often than I'm in Strikersville, so it's my home, and I want it to be clean too. So it's a big initiative for us. We're not looking to make it dirty. We're not looking to contribute to any issues, and I want to be the first one to know about it. So if there's anything that goes on that we feel like as a community needs to be addressed, especially on our turf, please let me know. Give me a call. Our office number, I believe, is on Google. It should be. If not, I have business cards. I can hand them out. Just talk to us. Keep us in the loop because we want to be part of the community, and we're not going anywhere as long as I have a say in it. So that what we needed to address for it.
Yeah, well, I'd like to ask, so you obviously you said you talked about it, there was some ideas. What are the ideas you know that were brought up maybe to address the issue?
I think what the ultimate solution would be is when we have paved driveways, it will be kind of a hard pack area that the trucks can drive on before they're hitting the pavement that the town owns. That's the ultimate solution. Paving's a little bit expensive right now,
we know.
kind of, with everything else. So it's on my mind consistently. It's something that I really want to have done. Plus, it looks beautiful, so it's easier to maintain. it's just something that we have to put into our book to get added down the line. Right now, the guys are being mindful of it as they're pulling out, they're checking if they're seeing anything, especially it's already in our operations that any of the trucks that have glass on the edges when they're dumping, they're getting out with a broom, they're scraping it all off. The guys that are unloading indoors, they automatically are taking a blow gun and blowing everything down that might be a little bit dusty. So we are keeping an eye on it, and I do have the guy I was talking to you about that comes with the building. He's worked in the building with every company that's been there, I believe, since Westinghouse or a little bit after Westinghouse. He goes right out with his shovel and his broom and anything that might fall off on the tracks, that initial bump, he's out there cleaning that up just to make sure it stays nice and clean. And I'm open to other suggestions. I want to make sure that it stays clean and it stays right.
So I've seen a lot of places, like especially like Waste Management, things like that, companies that had like a wash station where the truck just drives through. It's just the same puddle of water, but it does help break down dust or, things that are stuck in tires. Just a suggestion.
Right.
When you guys do talk about it, I would certainly appreciate you, looking into the matter.
Yeah,
Take care of
absolutely.
it if you did.
And I didn't know that Waste Management had that, so hopefully I can make some calls and see what goes into theirs. Immediately I'm thinking of the slurry that it would make, and I
It
would
is kind
try
of
and.
disgusting, especially
Yeah, that
in
might,
Waste Management.
that might be worse when it comes out and rolls that sludge down the first 4 or 5 houses worth of road, but.
Yeah, I don't know if they switched the water out or how they did it, I just remember dumping there years ago.
Right, no, but that's helpful, because if that's an option, I'd definitely look into it. And of course, going forward, if anybody thinks of anything, or if something else comes up, by all means, please give me a call.
Thank you.
Sure.
Was there anything to?
No, I'll be honest with you, I was the one who noticed it. My wife and I were riding our bikes, and it was stretched out a pretty long distance. So I was actually the one who brought it up, and I do appreciate you guys looking into the matter, and just hopefully we can, going forward, we can come up with a solution I didn't see any big pieces like that, but we saw just a lot of little pieces.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm not gonna lie, seeing the glimmer in the sun, a lot of them were so
That's what we
small
saw.
that I could grab them and pick them up, but I think I was gonna be hit by a car before I got too many of them, so just running the sweeper definitely helped, and we're just gonna stay on it for now. Like I said, paving is gonna be the ultimate solution, I believe, to get it off before they exit the property, but we'll just keep an eye on it, and if we can get everyone else's help too. If it becomes, more, and you're like, hey, I'm seeing this again, and it's a lot, just give us a shout, and we'll get it taken care of.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anything, Dave?
Should I stay and listen to the rest?
You don't
You
have.
can if you want.
I just don't wanna offend anybody.
Does anybody else, I know Mr. Hempel had something? Actually, if you want to stay here for this. We need help with our chapel.
Oh, really?
Well, I'd like to welcome you to the Historical Society after being this donuts, cider, coffee. I wanted to spend a minute and bring you up to date about what's happening with the chapel. I planned to come here a couple months ago, but I got COVID, so, and it's probably better here now because a lot of things are happening right now. I'm gonna pass this down. This is a fact sheet that we're developing to use for marketing and talking to people. You pass it along. I didn't know how many people to make it for, okay?
We need 3 more here.
There you go. Okay?
Just one more here.
Thank you. The issue with the chapel, or more specifically with saving the chapel, started with a letter we received in February from Forest Lawn Cemetery in Buffalo. It's a huge cemetery. They own Forest Hill. They've owned it for about a year now, so they're the official owners. They raised in 1987. The Landmark Society, Tim Moran drew up an agreement between Forest Hill Cemetery, that's the name of our cemetery in Attica, and the Landmark Society of the chapel would be taken care of by the Landmark Society, and they would do the work and pay for it and so forth. So, Forest Lawn recognized that, but they sent a rather troubling letter which talked about you're gonna have to raise up to $300,000, and that we're gonna have the money by September 1st. And if we couldn't do that, then they had no alternative but to tear down the chapel. Now, I won't get you into all the nuances, okay, but that didn't go well, obviously. And Forest Lawn has a new CEO, which may have contributed to the problem, and had a manager who had recommended this decision, okay? Well, we've had several meetings with their board, got a lot of emails, and we've come to an agreement that chapel is not gonna be torn down, it's gonna be saved. We've told, look, we can't do fundraising unless people think that what they're giving money for is gonna work. So it is gonna work, okay? Now, we hired David Sarinsky, a local engineering consultant, to help manage the project. We're just starting the process of bidding, looking for a general contractor and perhaps subcontractors. We estimate that cost to maybe $185,000, which is far less than $800,000. Fundraising is probably gonna take 3 steps, okay? One step we've completed, which is, we were at, Attica Days. We had a couple of ads in the Penny Saver. We didn't talk to any civic groups, that's just what we started with. And the Landmark Society had some money, not a lot, to contribute to this, because this is really the essence. This is why the Landmark Society was founded, okay, in 1887. We used to do some recognitions of houses for preservation, but that was a very small event, so. But this obviously is a major event. We believe that, you can see the information, we believe there isn't any other chapel like this in New York State. We're convinced that the Grand Ole Army, the public, the GAR, was very instrumental in building the chapel, which was 1902, I think. On the fact sheet, we put, on the back page, put some quotes of people, really well-written, moving testimony about what the chapel means to them and their families. We hope to meet and develop even a better relationship with Forest Lawn as far as marketing, fundraising. They want to control our finances. They're not. We're going to control our finances. Thus far, we've raised $90,000. We got first blush was $65,000 from a variety of sources. Then somebody has committed $25,000 in January of next year. Now, fundraising will probably take 3 steps. We've already done the first. The second will be the next few months, because no realistically no construction is going to take place for probably March or April. And the third step in fundraising is that we all agree we need to have a permanent fund for long term, because we felt it got ignored for too many years, okay? So we want to address that and try to avoid that. So I'm happy to listen to questions, but pretty much an update. Did I cover most of?
I think so.
So we're excited about it. We're going to make it happen.
Everybody's gonna stay. Good job, though, you guys were.
Hey, you know,
That was quite the fight you guys put up.
You see the name of the committee of people around there, mostly, they're all Attica people, so. We meet here every Monday and deal with the details.
Is that considered historic?
We consider this, it's not
on the registry?
it's not officially a historic, it doesn't have official historic preservation and recognition, but that's something that should happen. But we think it's historic.
Because that would probably help in getting grants down the road.
Yeah, I agree. Grants is something we need to work on too, to help the fundraise.
Yeah. Is that something the Landmark Society is looking into?
We're
Doing,
gonna-
pushing forward?
That's gonna be, it's part of our next step. It's one of the issues, like the Wyoming Foundation,
Yeah.
the Ralph Wilson Foundation,
Yep, oh, yeah. That's right.
Tom Gallizzano.
Mhm.
We gotta find, it's hard to find a grant writer, I'll tell you. If you can help us, that'd be fine. We've got some possibilities, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, has anybody even, looked into even the Kelly family?
oh yeah, that's, they're on, they've already been approached,
Another big interest.
yes.
Great. Yeah, thank you for keeping us posted on it.
Okay,
Anything we can do to help, please let us know.
I may be back.
Have you anytime. Does anybody have anything else to be brought forward?
I prepared a statement because of what happened last month, so I'd like to just make my statement to the board. Last month, when I brought up the fact that we were being asked to give $2,500 of tax money to a private organization, Mr. Vanson tried to make it an issue of personal between myself and the organization. This is not the first time that I have raised this issue. I brought it up when Mr. Lupps was mayor, and the issue was then turned down. With that being said, a trustee is a person who manages property or assets for the benefit of the third party. The third party is the Village of Attica taxpayers. Add this to the fact that there was no proper procedure. There was no public discussion beforehand. There was no bidding, then there was no public voting on it. Upon receiving a copy of a letter pursuant to a Freedom of Information Act, this board never discussed it any time during the last year. And I believe, Mr. Mayor, you said you talked about it.
Yeah, it might have been longer than a year. I know it's been quite a long time.
So,
I did not say within the year, so please don't put words in my mouth.
I didn't. I just went back a year because it was this year's project, okay?
I don't know if it was, well, okay, yeah. It was done this year, correct?
So, a year would seem like you would have talked about it within the last year. So I just wanted to clear up that I don't have any axe to grind with any organization. It's about the proper spending of tax dollars. And while many of you sitting at this board probably earn a very sizable income, there are people in our community that work for Tops and don't have a lot of money. And we shouldn't be spending tax dollars like we can hand out Christmas gifts. And that's my concern, so you understand that.
Oh, I do, absolutely.
So, and that's all I have to say. That's it.
No, I respect that, I really do. We try to do what's best for the entire community. I know with that project, it does open up the possibilities for a lot of things that can be done, and a lot of things that have been done, where a lot of that funds has been coming back to, providing it back into the community. So, there's things that we look at from all angles before we make a decision. So just so you know that, it's not just we're funneling money through anything or,
Well, we just need to
anything of this
follow,
sort.
we need to follow proper procedure.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
need to have a public discussion at a meeting so you can have input from the taxpayer. And then you need to get bids like you normally would do.
Yeah, which if we would have done the job ourselves. that's
If
what
you
we
would have done, and in fact, probably, it would have been much better if you had have done the job yourself, because then it would have been the village that did it for a village project and asked for a donation from the other organization to contribute to it.
We'll consider that in the future.
That would have been, I would have thought, and then you could easily have asked the town to cooperate, because between two government bodies, you can cooperate.
Absolutely.
I've said enough.
All right, anybody else have anything to bring forward to the board?
I'd like to piggyback on that a little bit.
Sure.
At last month's meeting, when you asked me about whether or not I remembered discussion about it, and I said I didn't. I still don't. I've talked to Doug Post. He said we never discussed it. So I don't know if you're thinking it was a year, 2, 3, 4. I have no recollection of us ever talking about that. So I have a question now for the trustees. So I don't know who wants to answer this, but what process was used to discuss putting a new electrical system in the park that the trustees approved? Because you're in control of the land, all the properties, and all the money that the village disposes. Not one individual. Board of Trustees is. I'd like to know what process you used.
I guess just, I'll throw my head on the chopping block and just say, we just thought we did what was best for the community.
I'm not gonna say
To
it's
update.
It's not good for the community.
That's just how I'm gonna answer.
Okay, but, so there was no process used. The trustees never authorized the work in the park. Is that correct?
I guess, yes, you have us there. I guess it was not brought forth to accept it, you're right.
Because I don't recall a resolution ever being done or anything.
No, there was discussion, though. I do remember discussion. It's neither here nor there. But, yeah, I guess, again, I'll throw my head on the chopping block and just say, I'll take the blame.
I'm not saying
That's
it's
what you
bad
wanna
for the
hear.
community.
Well,
I'm just saying,
what do you want to hear?
well, I wanted to know what the trustees, what their involvement was, because unfortunately, when I was on the board, it seemed like certain people were left out of the loop and certain people made decisions on behalf of everybody. Okay?
Same way, too.
Okay. So that's surprising because you're the mayor and you pretty much know everything that's going on.
Yeah, sure. I didn't. That's okay.
Well, the only
So
thing you
that-
didn't
that-
know about that you're,
It is-
get your
it is-
feathers ruffled about right now, I had gotten guidance from the state on, and I followed the guidance from the state, because it may have never been an issue. I'm not the one that filed the complaints. I only followed up.
I hear your question.
I only followed up. And I was advised that unless it comes to a public discussion again, you don't have to bring it up. So I did not. Until it came up for public discussion.
Anybody else have anything to bring forward to the board? Are you done, or did you get your,
Yeah, that was my question.
anything else? You're more welcome to go.
It goes down.
All right, so we'll move on to the committee reports. Public safety.
Good evening. Since the last time we met, the police department has answered 291 complaints. We've handled 4 motor vehicle accidents, 4 domestics, 1 fraud, and issued 54 traffic tickets, 5 parking tickets. Fire department's been busy. 16 assisted fire EMS. We had 2 arrests on warrants, 2 mental health arrests, 2 escort, 2 community policing, and 1 DWI arrest. One of the mental health ones was pretty significant and severe, and we ended up transporting him to ECMC. We just got done with a bench trial on a DWI case we were involved with, and the defendant's attorney really not sure what they were doing. They got convicted of DWI. They were offered a plea bargain down in AI, they refused it. Day of the trial, they said, hey, can we get that plea bargain? And the judge said, no, we've gone too far. You had your chance, so. And Officer Haynes and Deputy Murray did excellent testifying, and pretty confident in saying that with their testimony, we won the case. We've issued 2 unregistered motor vehicle warnings. Vehicles have been removed. I've been in contact with a third one, and we're working on it. We'll be issuing 3 appearance tickets for violation of building codes, and they're 3 separate properties. They've had multiple attempts to contact them and give them an opportunity to meet with the village office and or building codes to resolve the issue, and they've totally ignored it. And per the advice of the village attorney, we're moving forward and they're gonna be issuing an appearance ticket in the quarter. We handled an elder abuse case. The case was indicated by adult protective and fairly quickly resolved, which we were really happy with that positive outcome. National Fuel has finally completed the work up on the gas line on County Run, and hopefully we won't get any more reports of a 20-foot ball of flame above the hotel. Twice. You didn't call the second time, we did.
I was gonna say, we didn't get the call.
I've talked to the contractor working on the fiber optic line on Main Street, and they're pretty much done. And it's caused quite a few complaints with parking down in that area. We've walked with their, I've talked and worked with their, the company they use for traffic control, and they were very good people. And they adjusted as much as they could to help offset the burden to the local businesses down there. Had a community policing event. We teamed up with the Wyoming County Sheriff's Office for a car seat inspection station elementary school. It went pretty darn good. They inspected and installed about 7 car seats. Assisted the homecoming parade. It went well. A lot of candy. Our DWI arrest was resulted in a 0.11 blood alcohol content. We will be going to the Stevens Library. They requested a safety talk for Halloween, and we'll be sending officers down there on October 24th. We'll have additional patrols on trick-or-treating day. Trunk for treat is this Saturday. I believe it's 2 to 4 in the Village Park. So anybody wants some candy, stop down. We're going to have a car down there with candy. And I'm not doing that. She's much nicer. I got a complaint of apparently there's been a couple complaints of dog running at large up on West Cave and Bunnell, and we'll be issuing a dog at large ticket, bringing them to court. And we're still working on eliminating the dedicated phone line for the breathalyzer. Looks like we're getting close to the end of that. And once we can terminate that line, it's going to save significantly on the phone bill. And all the patrol cars have been serviced and winter tires installed. We had 1 death. Imogene Jones passed away at Gateway. And attached, you have, and I apologize, I didn't get into the agendas because the undersheriff called me this morning. They're looking to send all 13 instructors to Oriskany to further their instructor training for the alert program. And tentatively, it's going to be, the course is Monday, Tuesday, November 18th and 19th. Travel day will be on a Sunday. There's no cost for the training other than the officer's hours. I'd like the board approval to send Officer Royce.
We did an open-end alert training because you told us at the last board meeting that they
For the officers, and that's local, this is, she's going to be spending the night up there at Oriskany. It's the Homeland Security Training Center for New York State, and it's all free, other than the man hours.
So I will entertain a motion that we accept Officer Royce to the Oriskany Training Alert Program. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
Jay brought up a question about AJ's Automotive. There was a hearing. They were found guilty of 4 violations, which they had suspended his motor vehicle repair shop. I'm working with Julie, and once that's revoked, he's just another building, and we can go after him for building codes. Everything out there is unregistered, uninsured, the polygraphs, it's an eyesore.
From my understanding, it's in the state's hands right now. It's moved up to state level.
They revoked his motor vehicle repair shop.
Then That's all it is.
license. And once they do that, he's no longer protected under that code enforcement or building maintenance. So it reverts back to a standard commercial property, which our codes, our building codes, now we can act on and start getting that process rolling. And he never showed for the hearing. So he's gonna be fined, it's either $1,200 or $1,500 a day until he responds. And before the state takes the property over, I don't know how that works down the road, if they get to a certain amount. But I think the village needs to move forward on this
Absolutely.
and start the code enforcement.
There's been no work done at that place in years. I mean, I think they took a job with the Genesee County or something.
He what?
Took a job with Genesee.
Yeah, he works for the county highway. And he lives in his parents' place over in, I think it's Stafford.
I believe it's sold,
What?
AJ's.
The building? To whom?
I have a sanitary inspection for there. I called DeMonteo's office, they gave me the contact number, and I'm still trying to set up the sanitary inspection, but I believe it's sold.
Do we know who bought it?
I do not, doesn't say in the paperwork. But we wouldn't be doing a sanitary sewer inspection if it didn't sell.
How can it even happen if this is all going on now?
Not a clue.
Maybe because of this going on, he, dumped it. I know it's in DeMonteo's office.
All right, I'll give his call, or his office a call around, find out what the deal is, and I'll let Brenda know.
That'd be good. Good news.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's, could be long.
Yeah. I think I hope I know who it is, but you don't know.
I don't,
I have an idea.
I heard a rumor, but I don't like
Yeah.
that.
Same here.
Yeah.
I hope so. Good.
No, good. Unless you guys got something to do. Cool, I'm out.
All right.
Thanks, Chief.
Alright, so since last meeting, we've had 33 calls, 18 in the village, 4 in the town, no mutual aid, nothing at Attica Correctional. We had one call at Wyoming Correctional for an inmate, but no proof provided. One dispatching error and 9 school standbys. Those have been really picking up, because now we're doing soccer and a lot of football, so we're up there at least what feels like every day during the week. And I just looked at the schedule today, and today, I think Thursday was the only day we didn't have to be up there.
I think Jay and I talked about that not too long ago here, that, something's gotta be done about that. Volunteer work, correct me if I'm wrong, we're doing, was it soccer games and, like as much as what it is now, it has being all voluntarily.
It's a lot of work, especially for as much
Volunteers
as
will get burned out.
Brenda, don't they have to have an athletic on site? It was Sharon Donnelly, right?
Yeah, I thought it was her, but I haven't seen her.
And so there's no reason for you guys to be there if they have to have.
her there.
well,
But I haven't seen
she's purple elementary.
I realize that, but
Yeah.
it would seem like last year before, they had to have somebody that, and we didn't do
We
so.
can reach out to Lisa Young, right, isn't she the new AG?
Jay is.
I was asked one of the people that used to go up there, and they said it costs like $100, so that's why they're not up there. So apparently, is that why the fire department is getting basically dumped on to cover all these calls?
I'll find out.
If you would, it's, I think, what is it, tonight or tomorrow night, there's 2 soccer games scheduled at the same time, and the schedule we were given isn't always the same as the time of the games. We've gone up there and the games are over with.
Well, we had a standby for Floyd, and our medics, most of them are busy. I know the EMT class right now, Ann is up there. Some of our medics help out with them, or they do a special program to keep up their certification. so they gotta go to certain class every so often. But there's some medics that just don't wanna come around and do anything, so we're kinda left with
J and N.
J&N or.
If you could check into it, see what's going on.
How does the school not have any responsibility from the budgeting aspect to shoulder that?
Right.
I mean, wouldn't it be in the sports budget, or should be in the
Should be.
sports budget?
They're required to have somebody there, and
Right.
whatever it costs, it should be.
Right.
You know, I thought some of the
Right.
coaches or their athletic trainers were supposed to be trained in how to do stuff, and, you know, if you do need us, dial 911.
Yeah, the coaching staff has to be, I know from certificate wise, you have to be CPR certified and first aid, AED as well. But, yeah, like tonight, there's 2 soccer games and a football game.
Well, I certainly appreciate you guys doing what you're doing. I know you're getting burned out like we talked about the other night here. But I think it's a conversation we can definitely have, and I'm sure the school, you know, we can work something out here, figure it out. So that,
I mean, it's a lot, I mean,
yeah,
you know, figure we run 400 calls a year,
yeah,
75 to 80% of that's EMS, our ambulance is already running a lot, and,
yeah.
you know, going up there, and, you know, at times we end up getting a call during it, and then we gotta go take the call.
Yeah.
And some of your older members are just getting tired. Oh, sorry, sir.
That's the other tough
You
part,
want
is
something.
a lot of members are older, so they're only gonna keep doing it for so much longer, and younger members, they always don't have the time, because lovely inflation, everybody's either got a really good one job, or they gotta work 2 jobs just to survive, so it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a conversation we could have.
Can the fire department charge the school for that? Or because they're volunteer?
Well,
I
the
think we
village
accept
could.
a donation, but I don't know as if,
Well, the village could.
Yeah, but I thought it was something
You
where
do a
they had to
contract.
have somebody there.
but they would probably have to be put into the budget.
Right.
Yeah, for
We
next
should talk
year.
about the contract with them then.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's just something we can do, but it's something we can have a
I
conversation.
can
about.
look into with my accountant.
And this, then we can, on the 30th, we can talk about 2 prisons about,
Yeah.
you know, because Julie has all the bills that we've sent about the state may be making a donation to put towards a new ambulance, because this one we got now is getting tired.
Yeah. But now, they are now contracted through the county now.
With this, the prisons,
Yeah.
oh, that's another problem.
I know it is.
They were contracted before through
Yeah,
Monroe.
Yeah.
the county, it contracts with both prisons for so much. Well, sometime this month, because the ambulance service is so over budget, they're gonna be cutting back to 1 paramedic ambulance overnight instead of 2. And there's some nights that both ambulances, I know from the county, are up doing prison calls.
It's a
So
mess.
that means,
Jails are a mess.
Now, so if they're unavailable, can you guys take a call?
they,
You don't get,
the dispatch is supposed to call the county first. If they're, Wyoming County's not there, they're supposed to call Genesee County and see if Mercy is available. And the other night, they didn't do that. They did us and Mercy. And it was just a-
so if Wyoming County, or EMS, they get paid every time they go.
Oh, yeah, they build
But
a
when you
state.
guys go there to fill in for them, you don't get anything?
No, unless we might have to bill the county for, because they can't fulfill their contract.
Yeah, I mean, that's not fair to you guys.
And that's why we've asked the state to make a donation that can be put towards the ambulance fund, like it used to, I don't know how many years ago, that we would always send them a receipt, they would send a bill, Doug would put it in the ambulance account for replacement on the ambulance.
I think we have to have a contract with them nowadays.
Pardon?
I think we'd have to have a contract with them. I wouldn't expect a donation from the state.
That's it, you know, if they would just give something towards replacement.
Oh, I know. I know it's not as easy nowadays with the state with a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
A lot more red tape now. But that's a conversation we'll have on the 30th. We're gonna have a meeting with the Department of Corrections on the 30th. Yeah. We'll be bringing that topic up. So,
football playing. Thankfully it was that, and not BK, burn a bunch of grease through their lovely stack, but, it's about, gives them pretty much about the same every month. Just EMS calls and a little fire activity, but, which is good. Absolutely. We'll say that is good. Since last meeting, we've also done fire prevention day at the prospect school. Kids obviously loved it. Teachers were really glad. We changed up a few things this year. I got a few more little fire prevention things with preschool and daycare.
I got a question. Do you guys hand out little trinkets or anything, like when I was a kid, we had like frisbees and things like that? Do you guys hand out? Yeah.
Plastic hat.
Yeah, I know that we even had, smoke detectors and stuff. Like, do you guys ever?
We used to do the trinkets, and then the person that we used to get it through stopped doing it, correct, Jay? Jay? The person that we used to get it through quit doing it,
She retired.
and then we've been.
So would there be somebody else to look into? Because that'd be something good to give to the kids.
There's all sorts of books on where to get stuff.
Yeah, so we've been looking into it. Sometimes I get a little too busy, I don't get to always keep up on it. It's always coming to the end of the business when fire prevention is coming up. So, we also had our gun raffle.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Big winner here.
Thanks to everybody that attended. It was a good time. Did pretty well with it. I don't know all the numbers, but making a few things, looking into getting a few pieces of our equipment repaired. Our air bottle filling station, the compressor on it, giving us more issues again. So Jay's been in contact with the guy to get that fixed, so we can continue to use it. We're still able to use bottles, and Jay's been beating on the thing with his hand to get it to work, so. We had some issues with our gear washer, so they're getting fixed. Just had a talk with an overhead door about our one door. Yeah. You can see sunlight through it on the one side, so that's gonna be resolved hopefully this week. And then we had a couple members resign due to moving into another fire district, and then we also have a letter for a new applicant, which will be on the agenda in a little bit. And that we're still training, still got kids in classes, and they'll be out pretty soon, and really get them trained to be prepared for the next one. So,
Are you guys gonna be attending the trunk or treat?
yep, we will have a truck up there. I wasn't so sure if I was gonna be up there. I know sometimes it's a little hard for some other people to show up, so I usually try to do as much as I can for the PR stuff, but, I was supposed to be at a class that Saturday, come to find out they moved the class to Sunday, so I can be there Saturday, make sure that we're there.
Get some trinkets.
Yeah, it's only a couple days away. So, that's all I got.
Anybody have any questions for the chief or comments, concerns? Thank you, you got to good work.
All right.
All right, anybody else, anything for public safety?
That'd be you, Jay.
DPW, Craig, I'll let you go first, how does that sound?
That'd be good.
I know you said
I
you
gotta
gotta
scoot, yeah. Well, I gotta get to the football game. As you guys, I'm sure all seen, paving turned out great on Northwater, Washington. I believe we're gonna come in a little under budget on that as well. Millhurst was able to do it in 2 days instead of 3. So I think we're gonna save on that, and the blacktop estimate was a little high too, so we came in under that. So that's good. Of course, leaf season, we started picking today. The guys will be doing that for the next month and a half.
So it's now leaf season, switch from.
Yeah. Yeah, we started today. We haven't done it in the past, but Brenna and I have kind of talked about it, and Julie as well, about setting a date for
Section,
last
okay.
pickup
Oh,
for leaves. I mean, last year we ran almost into December. So I was thinking like, I mean, I'll keep an eye on the leaves, but just a tentative date of like, you gotta have them out by November 22nd. And if you can't put them out after that. I don't know what you guys think of that. I think we need to set a date. It's been past practice, we just picked them up until they were
Well, like
gone.
you said, you know, if you still got trees.
Right,
tons of
right.
leaves on, you know.
So I mean, we'll keep an eye on the leaves, I'll keep an eye on the trees and see what happens, but I'd like to set a date, a cutoff date, because if not, we're chasing them down the streets with the plows and everything else.
do other towns? Do
Oh,
they-
yeah.
Do they? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Batavia cuts it off like, the end of October.
Oh.
Like, it's crazy how soon they cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't mess around. So that's what I thought being, you know, towards the end of November. I think that's enough time, but I'll let you guys ponder that. Of course, we shut the splash pad down in the bathhouse. They're the pool house bathrooms. The main bathrooms are still open. I'm gonna leave them open until we get freezing temperatures at night, and then we'll go ahead and shut them down. It's usually early November. What do we got left to do? Jefferson Street, your street, your street. I gotta hit them where them digs are. We gotta just top that with some blacktop before the snow flies. Other than that, the streets are in really good shape.
You can tell it's divoted now.
Yeah, well, it's settled, you know. We left it open for a while too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is on my
Stevens could go on
agenda.
that list.
I'm sorry?
Maybe Stevens could go on that list someday?
Stevens? What's wrong with Stevens?
Nothing.
What you got? You got potholes?
It's a little rough,
It's a little rough?
yeah.
I'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
I thought we got all the
We lived there
potholes
for
already.
21 years and nothing's been done in the 21 years.
Well, we get
You know, if I had $1 for every time.
Just saying, just saying. I know this
That's what
budget-
everybody on Northwater Washington told me to.
Although the speeders might go from 30 to 50.
True, that's true.
They are, tentatively, I am looking at those next to pave, so just keep that in the back of your mind.
If you're taking suggestions, East Avenue is
East Ave actually would have been done before Northwater Washington, but because of the infrastructure, we have to make the changes. We're gonna put that off for a couple years, and then this summer, hopefully, start targeting those areas, we can get that done, and then pave East Ave. By far, East Ave's the worst.
I asked first.
Figured I'd get on that.
But no, it is.
Make sure you fix Jefferson, that's all.
Right, fix Jeff. Anybody else?
Just make sure you fix Jefferson.
238.
238.
Has anyone driven 238?
Yeah, I'm sure we could all. I will say this though.
I know.
We do actually have really good streets. You drive to Perry, and I don't mean to slam them at all, but you drive to East Aurora. People like to compare Attica, but we wanna be like East Aurora, drive East Aurora side streets.
Yeah. No, our
His
streets are-
point, Evan lives
Yeah.
on a side street in East Aurora, it is bad.
So we aren't nearly as bad as some of the other.
One of our new police officers had made a comment to me about it, he goes, you guys
You know,
got
there's
great
quite a bit.
streets here.
They're
He
terrible.
says, you have
Yeah.
no idea what the city streets are like.
So Pam, I'll look into Stevens.
West
Chris,
Ave.
fairground, I mean, fairgrounds, yeah, I mean, there's what, 3 houses on there?
Technically, there's only one.
Is it only one?
We're the only fairground park address.
Oh, no kidding, I didn't know that.
The other one, I think, is Stevens Street
Stevens.
Extension or something.
Is it?
Mr. Feeney's old house is not fairground park.
No, wait, in all honesty, is there potholes there? Because if there are, well, I know it's rough, it's been loader paved and loader
Basically
paved
what it
and,
is, yeah. Patch goes in, then it doesn't seem to hold.
right.
You know, unfortunately, when we plow, a lot of these plowed out, so.
Well, we put Band-Aids on bullet wounds, we do our best.
There's no huge potholes,
Okay.
I'll say that.
Okay. And then lastly, we're just getting trucks ready for the snow. Junior started on the plow truck today. Of course, we found some little issues here and there. He's got a list. And then get into prepping all the trucks for snow. sorry, what was that? And that's all I have for now. You guys got anything?
Anything for Craig?
The speed bumps in the park, you can pull those some.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when we shut the bathrooms down, before the snow flies, we'll pull them. But I try to keep them in as long as we can, because if not, it's a racetrack, as we all know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not shut AYA off. We did shut down the 2 cemeteries, and of course our bathrooms and park, Lions Club Pavilion. Not, AYA is not called. So if anybody has a contact and would like to reach out to them,
I think it's Liz Koreans.
I thought it was maybe Kaiser, wasn't it? But I don't know.
I think it's Liz Koreans.
Yeah, Mandy just mainly focuses on the soccer.
Yeah. I can, I'll submit.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to reach out to them,
Yeah.
you know, it's just
All right.
let me know.
All right. So you're free to go.
Yeah, I got to get to the football game, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys. I'll let you duke it out.
Go ahead, Matt.
Want me to go?
Don't have much to really go over other than the leaded copper that Justin's been working on for a couple of years was submitted to the state. So we were in the deadline for that. There was 260 some odd houses that are unknowns. So unknowns are listed as copper mines. So we're gonna start working on that, getting that prep to start seeing what it is. Me and Corey actually told Justin he's on vacation the rest of the week that we're gonna try to contact some of these people, knock on their doors, see people in their basement, just see what comes in their house, and that'll take us off the list, another one off the list. So we're in good shape. We did a hell of a job doing it. But there is gonna be a letter that we're putting together, or he put together. I got an okay with the health department that says your house could have copper, or could have lead lines. So it's gonna start a little bit of a uproar if you guys hear it, and it's not really until we just put our eyes on it to make sure that that's good. So we're in a good spot, a lot closer than other municipalities. The shop was completed. Brenda wanted me to take a picture of the lift for you guys that I did and brought in. That was done actually Friday morning it was completed. So the shop's all set. Junior, when he's working on cars or pickup trucks, is gonna come up to the plant now. We did discuss having a time to, like, 1 day a week or something like that. Me, Brenda, Paul, and Craig had a meeting today. Try to leave it alone right for right now. They're just gonna say when Junior needs it, it's gonna come out. So
Kind of work something out like by ear.
it's gonna be trial and error. We don't really know how it's gonna work, whatever it is. So we're just gonna leave it at that for now, but it's all ready for him. We have basically a set of tools at the plant that we use, that he's just gonna be able to use at the time. Instead of bringing his toolbox out, having 2 places to come back and forth to. He's got a lot of work to do in the next 2 months. Get everything ready for snow. So whatever's easier for him, he's gonna keep in contact with Brenda, how things are going. We're gonna hold it a little bit more responsibility on Paul himself. He's gonna be like a service department. He'll do the bills, he'll give like copies to us of the repair work he's done, but he's gonna handle all that stuff. So it's a little bit more streamlined, so no one's looking for bills at the end of the month.
He did say it was so much easier than, because right now he has to lay on the ground to work on the vehicles, and he said this made it so much easier and quicker to do that stuff, so he was so appreciative.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we'll see how it all goes, and we'll go from there on that. The dam report, that we put in about a year ago, it's almost completed. They're coming to our next board meeting in November. Novella's with, Don Lucas and his associates, and they're gonna explain a lot of stuff to us. They flew a drone. They're gonna have a little presentation on the big TV to show you everything, all 3 reservoirs. They really worked for us. They actually okayed a bunch of work at number 3 that needs to be done. That they figured out a way to let us as a municipality do it ourselves. So it saves the village hundreds of thousands of dollars to remove the tree. So a tree from the dam, and they're gonna let us. They're gonna give us basically a list to go by and how they want to come back and everything, but they're gonna let us do it in house. It saves a ton of money. A lot of grants out there for a lot of different things they want to get us involved in. So they'll talk more about that. I have a lot of questions for them there. The last thing I have is, today I talked to Matt from Labella's, and me and Brenda have a meeting the 28th, it's a Zoom meeting, with DOH. This is the 4th round of questions that they've had come back that they wanted to know before they start this plant project. It's been a nightmare. It's been, September was a year ago that we gave DOH information. It's like they give us a $5 million toward it, and then they want to hold it as a carrot over our head. But good news is we're going to be involved, and we're going to explain what the water plant situation is right now, how it's really crawling along. So hopefully that'll be done. He wants to advertise for bidding by no later than the end of December, because he said we'll get into the 24 season with the bidding, and hopefully break ground 1st of April, or if we have a late winter, as soon as the frost is out of the ground. So it's about a 3-month process from bidding, they're awarding the bids, to getting the lawyers to draft all the contracts, and then start work. So they are on page, as long as we can keep the OH focused on this one. So, other than that, everything's going as it should up there.
Anything else from Matt? Duty's up.
To go on lead and copper, the second half of my training that was approved last week, this is just like general information for everybody. The unknown services, what they're probably going to do, this is from New York Rural Water, so Matt, I wish that I called you or that you could have came to the training.
Yeah.
It just, that's how it goes. Anyway, they're going to end up passing down a deadline that says like all unknowns have to be determined what they physically are by X. And they're going to set a date, and when you can't identify it, they're assuming that all of these are from a contaminant source. So you don't get to err on the side of caution saying that an unknown is copper. The unknowns are automatically going to be classified as lead, essentially. And what they're not going to do is they're not going to accept a personal attestant, or what would it be, a personal statement from a homeowner that says what it is. So it's going to have to be a village worker, a village employee that's going in there, whether it's Justin, Matt, whoever, doesn't matter, that's going to actually have to identify each service line coming in. So once that's completed, the odd thing is that there's going to be a lot of infrastructure money that's going to be available to each municipality, that they're basically going to be able to have, like, let's say, a third party that's going to come in and have to replace all these lines. If the village is prepared and ready, the village can actually act as that third party contractor and do the line replacement at a set amount per foot, and replace from the curb boxes to the homes. So you following what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the federal government is basically going to hand down through the states to the municipalities this grant money, to where they're going to give it to these homeowners to replace their service lines. And whether that's Bob Kaminsky, whether that's whatever plumbing firm may have you, they're going to give them whatever their bid rate is. But what they're also going to do is accept that if the village themselves want to take on, even if that's adding 2 employees or whatever have you, the village can effectively act as that third party plumbing to do all those repairs themselves. And it comes with the biggest positive would be, as curb stops are on opposing sides of the street, or they're in the middle of the street, the village could prioritize and replace them street by street, so that you're not digging up street A while having simultaneous digs on street B and from all these other third-party contractors. So if the village is prepared enough to do this, it would be really advantageous for the village to take it upon themselves to do those service lines.
Yeah, I just looked at the report that Justin brought up, that we're prepared.
Yeah, and it's going to be from like an excavation standpoint, replacement, et cetera. But what it's really going to save on is having, like what's happening on Main Street down by the corner of Market, is when, none of us really knew, I mean, not that we didn't know, I'm not placating that, but it's so that they're not digging up a street you just paved. They're not digging up and then closing down half portions of 6 streets all simultaneously, because any contractor can come in and do it. So it's just something that, like, the 6 of you, all of us, should really try to stay on top of as it comes down to. Not only would it be very lucrative for the village, but it would just be a lot better from us as an expense point as well, not having to pay for repairs over and over and over again to the same streets if they don't go through a more prioritized manner, if that makes sense. So the rural water was really good, and that's rural water handles like municipalities under a certain size, and the trainings that we would both go to work hand in hand with it. But that guy realizes what's out there for the villages, like at stake, you know, these smaller municipalities and what they potentially could come away with. You know, why doesn't Attica come away with, you know, this big chunk of money versus, and I'm not rooting against private firms, but just realizing the opportunity that's out there potentially for us as well. Yeah, and it's all, from what he said, as all these other basically carcinogens, other hazardous materials are coming down the line as fast as they can create them, it's all gonna happen super quickly. Like all of a sudden this deadline was 3 years out, and within the next 3 years they're gonna want them all replaced. And it's like, that's how fast it's gonna happen.
So your talks are that we take upon these ourselves?
I wasn't at this training, but,
Yeah.
I wish I would have been.
So we can call, they're gonna have another training on it, and I got the information from the guy, I just haven't shared it yet. But they're not persuading municipalities to take it upon themselves. They realize staffing issues, they realize limitations, but what they're saying is if it's possible, it would be a lot easier if the villages could do it because of all the things that you would have within your control.
I get the reasons as to why.
Yeah.
Say just put it every street rather than this person
Correct.
wants to do it here, this person wants
Right.
to do it here.
They may tackle all of Favor,
Yeah.
then go to all of Jackson, you know, et cetera. And if we don't get a lot of positive responses on having to go into the homes for the personal identification, it's gonna have to be something that's drafted that they have rights to go in and identify. And that's gonna be
So they took-
potentially one of the trickier
So
things.
they took out that the homeowner could take photographs and send it to, they took that out.
Correct.
That was the one with, if they didn't want you in their house, they could take a photo of it, send it to you, and tell you if a magnet stuck to it or not, you know?
Yeah,
That
but
was
they're
how
not,
it
they're
was.
not gonna end up accepting those personal statements from the homeowners. It's gonna have to be from the actual, an official representative of the municipality. In case you wanted something else that was more cumbersome, you know. But it was really beneficial, honestly, and that's something that they looked at, and they're basically gonna have like ideas of what these costs are going to be for replacement, because a lot of these service lines are all very standardized sizes. They know what it takes to replace them at 5 feet deep or 6 feet deep as they come in, you know, and if the village can do it, well, we already have the equipment, you already have all the rights, you're not looking to clear, you know, all this, it's, you know, exorbitant profit, if you will, but yet also still make it reasonable and obtainable for the village to do it where it is beneficial to us.
It's a manpower problem.
And that was it. So the way they're talking, you're gonna be able to hire like 2-3 guys for.
That's all they do.
Correct.
Yeah, it'd definitely take years of it.
And it's going to,
complete the project.
and it's going to.
Did they say in that training that, like we can use our back truck to identify on each side of the curb stop? Did they say that they would pay for that or no?
For the identification standpoint,
Yeah.
I think when they were talking about the curb stops themselves, is people were digging up and replacing to the curb stop so that they didn't have to go any further. Because all the homeowners are nervous upon the expense, which could be very costly, falling upon them. So they are literally looking for identification into the homes themselves or into the services themselves. Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be fun.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we were just talking about doing hydro excavation.
Yeah.
And that was how we're gonna identify on each side of the curb stop, but if they don't know without being inside the house, it X-nays that plan.
So the one thing they did have was like a pre-drafted letter, and I'll get you in contact with Albion's guy, Rick, who's done really well. He actually drafted a letter to those homeowners or those businesses that were left as unknowns at that current time and individually mailed to them basically like a formal request to come in at their convenience to identify it, and he said that they had an overwhelming positive response to it. That almost every one of them said, yeah, you know, Friday at 5 o'clock.
Let out.
Exactly, you know, and if that's what it takes, then, I mean, that's what it's gonna have, you know, that's what it's going to require. Yes,
And he
yeah.
mailed his?
He
Because that's
mailed-
what me and
yeah.
Justin were talking about today, because if we take them, hand deliver them, which would save us a stamp, but they can say they never got it. If we give it to the post office, we actually got an out. If the post office had it, and you didn't get it,
Yeah.
type deal, so. If you mail them out, I'll call Rick.
Yeah, I'll come down tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll come down in the morning, I'll get all the information, I'll
Yep.
call Rick.
And that's just something I just wanted to say it, like I said, it could potentially be a very positive thing for us, as much as it's going to be a hassle as well.
Yeah, I think it's something we gotta get onto
Correct.
yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be more proactive.
Yep.
Because I think we only have until the 16th of November. We get 1 month from when it was submitted, the 16th of October, to have a letter drawn up and mailed to these people that we don't know.
About the unknowns.
About the unknown. We got 1 month from today, so that's why.
So
Justin's
it's
on.
134 of those?
260 some. Yeah.
Wow.
900 and some odd. So it's about a quarter of it. Yeah.
And for all your guys' information, the same gentleman who's dealt with a ton of municipalities is saying that a lot of other municipalities are upwards of 60 to 70% unknowns.
Yeah. Because they had to finish the report to get it in, so they just,
Yeah, didn't get responses from the homeowners, didn't get responses, period, and then also didn't have the manpower to go around and do this. So, I mean, you know, kudos to Justin for completing this in a timely manner, as efficiently as he has, and as thorough as it is. You know, but work to be done yet. So, other than that, from the sewer plant itself, everything's status quo, working on the renewal application. I submitted the operations and maintenance manual for our composting facility back to Nussbaumer. That has to go through a mandatory revision before our application renewal goes in January. I started reading that today. It's 178 pages. Great, it's great. It shouldn't be too bad, but it's just necessary steps that we can go through and keep the composting facility, chemicals, stuff like that. We went through a mandatory, voluntary question survey from New York State DEC in regards to our biosolids handling with PFAS, which again is now another known contaminant carcinogen that we are going to have to take part in. So if you guys have any specific questions in regards to the PFAS, I can elaborate more. It doesn't have to be here. It may jeopardize our complete composting process and facility. I don't think that that's going to happen. There's just a lot of unknown, and it's even coming from the people that are governing it. So, right, exactly. On top of that, really, I don't have a lot else. I do want to touch on a funding thing. If you guys are aware, Brenda, you guys hand the information. So in 2017, there were 2 grant applications filed for recycling grants. The one that was filed primarily was for a replacement of our Kubota tractor and our Knight Kuhn mixer that are directly related to our composting process. The Kuhn mixer was an original implement in 1997. It has a life expectancy of 15 years. As you guys know, we're well over that. That was also free to us, taxpayers. It was a grant awarded then when we started the process from Doug Post. The tractor itself is a 2004 model. It has like 5,900 hours on it. I believe the clutch is going to need replacement soon. But the grant that we applied for was a 50% reimbursement for those 2 pieces of equipment. Unfortunately, because of the time delay that it's been since we submitted the application, it's no longer 50% of what the current prices are, but you would have to resubmit the entire application to try to get them to cover the 50% of the today cost. So what was a 50%, I don't have the percentage breakdown. The original mixer was $68,000, it's now $76,000, and the original tractor quote, and these are from 2017, so this is like, you know, a a long time ago, it seems like. The original tractor quote was $61,489. The new tractor quote is $65,830.56. If you guys, specific numbers, the total amount that I would request to remove from the sewer reserve is $142,620.56. Upon completion of the grant work, the reimbursement value would be $64,814.33, leaving us with a net borrowed of $77,806.23. I think it'd be very beneficial from a public safety, workplace safety manner. The new tractor is cab tractor with air filtration. Our other tractor is an open station tractor. It is very dusty in the building. It's hard on our sinuses. I can attest to that. The mixer itself, our old one, obviously still works. It's very efficient. I don't think they're gonna give us enough to even bother trading in, and it's not worth selling. We may keep it as a backup.
Explain what that is.
The mixer? So
I'm sure we're all standing up here, sitting up here wondering what that is.
Yep, so if you guys are familiar with like a giant feed mixer at farms, all it is a tumbling drum that incorporates all our material together. So there's a drum and then two augers that mix everything. So
Like a feeder wagon?
yeah, it's a feeder wagon. Yep. So we have to place into that on a batch basis 1 cubic yard of sludge, 1 cubic yard of old wood chips, 1 cubic yard of new wood chips. And we have to mix that and then disperse that from the mixer onto our composting piles so that we can continue to create our class 1 biosolids. Any questions?
I guess I got a question, is
Yep.
where are we gonna get the money?
It's coming from the sewer reserve. The sewer reserve has a little over $500,000 in it. And we would be borrowing that from the sewer reserve. The reimbursement value would be transferred immediately back to the sewer reserve, and whatever dollar amounts we get, if we sell the old mixer, the old tractor would also then be transferred back to the sewer reserve. I can only attest for my department, I haven't spent anything outside of operational costs in 4 years.
Where's that show here?
Look, it's the wastewater.
Would you need
Wastewater.
this, say, I know you think that mixer, the old mixer's not worth anything, but, I mean, would it, if it's just gonna sit there, I mean, would you guys really ever use it?
The problem is at 79,000, are you willing to let it go on Auctions International for 1,000?
I mean.
You can put a minimum bid, and what I was gonna do was try to get an estimated weight upon it for scrap value, so we could at least have, we're trying to get the most out of it. I don't see it going for not nearly what a new one costs, as you all know today, that's just how it goes. The tractor, I'm not sure. We thought about repurposing it elsewhere in the village to maybe the streets department to replace the John Deere that they use for watering, and down at the park it is a front end loader. It has 2 remotes on it. It could be used to mow the park potentially with a batwing mower. There's a lot of different things that could be repurposed into. And again, that tractor was also a net zero cost to the village, as it was completely paid for 100% by the recycling grant the last time when that was bought in 2004. So they don't owe us anything, you know.
And is the clutch something like Junior could fix?
No, that's not on that. You have to split the whole tractor. I did get a quote from Alexander Equipment and Kubota Dealer for a complete clutch replacement. It was only around like $2,800, so it really wasn't that detrimental. It's just a big job.
Did you get other quotes on other brands of tractors, or?
Not then in 2017, and they are state bid. Yeah, yep, it's state bid. Alexander Equipment also has to comply with the vendor, Jiminy Christmas, VRQ, vendor rep questionnaire with the state to basically ensure that they're not bloating or inflating any of the prices. And Alexander Equipment's in compliance with it. Go ahead, Hans.
That's, just figuring out that 50% of what it was, it's costing, it would have been It's about $6,000 more. So
Yeah.
About 40% now, right?
I didn't figure out the exact numbers, but yes, it is a lower amount compared to what the originals were in 2017.
Yeah, just a raise in prices and all that.
Correct.
I figured it's just about 6,000.
Yeah.
About $6,000.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it'd be about 40, 41, 40, something like that percent.
Yeah, which they're only gonna cover 50% of the increased price too. So it's really only like 45 change.
Yeah.
But that's the tough part. So the catch to that is we cannot request them to pay for the increased amount without completely resubmitting the entire application.
That
Which
would take
we
forever.
took us 7 years now.
Yeah.
And that's just it. It's taken them 7 years to process this application.
And if you process and then they don't grant you that, you can come out with zero.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
So then it costs us $140,000.
Yeah.
So the other one is, that would be a substantial amount that I can foresee coming is the roof replacement on the composting building itself. Now, that grant application was also processed in 2017 and should probably hear something from it. I would have said 5 years ago, but I don't, but that's going to be also quite an exorbitant amount.
And we could sell the tractor, right?
Correct, yeah. Like I said, or we looked into potentially repurposing it out, like, there's no need to move it today. It's not gonna be that large of a dollar amount back to us, so before we sell it and then wish we kept it, let's make sure that it's not usable in a better, facet somewhere else in the village. Any other questions on it?
We need a motion.
Well, it's further in there. If you guys have anything, that's the biggest pressing issue for us.
Anything else?
I don't have anything, unless you guys do.
Comments, concerns for Dougie? Anything else for Dougie? No? All right. Moving on to town liaison then.
They didn't have a meeting yet.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Well, it's next week.
All right. So, village administrator.
I just have this stuff, I'll bring up to the executive.
An executive.
Yeah, just give it to them.
Okay. All right. Anything else? No? Any old business? New business? 17 scarecrows. We got 17 scarecrows this year up. Yeah, it's down. I know Batavia's down too. I think last year was 28, but yeah, it's good to see at least 17 up. Some pretty neat ones. We are going to be having our Veterans Appreciation Day. Everything all set with manpower and stuff, and did good with the state road. Did I hear anything about the parking lots? Are they?
Julie did the school, I did the state.
Okay. And then the proclamation. We do have a proclamation for John of Barnway. I don't have it here, it's my fault. I was gonna print it out and bring it, so I'll put my head on the chopping block for that, but it was basically the same, almost as last year's. So I don't know if you're willing to accept the proclamation for John, and we'll be sure to put it in the minutes.
Okay.
So I will entertain a motion to accept.
I'll motion that.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Opposed? Again, I apologize. It will be in the next minutes, but it's my fault. Trunk or treat the 19th. And we talked about that, so other than that, that's about all I got. So moving on. The village board approves the bank reconciliation report for the treasurer month ending in August 2024. I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Motion.
Motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's fair.
I did. I'm seconding that.
I did.
Yeah, Pam seconded, sorry.
Yeah, I think he has here.
Recommended action, the village board approves the upcoming election positions. It's going to be my head, and then I think, Hans and, is it you, Matt, or?
Pam.
No, it's Pam. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the, let's see, Tuesday, March 19th.
You changed
the
the
election.
date on that.
Yep.
On
Yeah, it's March 18th, 2025.
yeah. this
Plus
is-
copy and pasting from last year. I got the date right in the second one.
Yeah.
Mark and
Oh, okay.
first.
Alright, So,
Okay.
entertain a motion to accept the election to be held on March 18th, 2000.
I'll motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Recommend action, village board approves the application for the chamber for the Winter Fest, which will take place 12/14/24, summer.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Dean, you can just give it to me.
Recommend action that the village approves the Wyoming County Highway Snow and Ice contract that we do every year. Go for it.
Second.
Well, we got three.
Yeah. Third.
All in favor? Aye.
All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. All right, so here we're at the, what Doug just discussed. I'll entertain a motion to accept, let's see, village sets, no, well, no,
I gotta move the
the
funds.
public hearing to move the funds, yes,
Mhm.
for November 19, 2024 is the date at 6 p.m. for a public hearing.
I move.
Motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Recommendation, action that the village board approves.
That's to approve it as soon as we get it, that way we, because by the time we do this on November, that way we'll have this already ready to go. To purchase the tractor and the mixer.
If it's passed, then.
Alright.
Yeah.
Correct. So let me read this then. All right. Recommend action, the village board approves wastewater treatment plant to purchase the Kubota Ultra Grand Can at 65833056 and the Kuhn Knight RA 142T Tomo mixer at 76,790 from Alexander Equipment from government bid.
Do we do that now or after the public hearing?
I would think we'd have to wait for the public hearing.
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't see how.
They haven't processed it, so one not caveat, we're not purchasing it unless
Yeah.
the state awards us the.
Yeah, so we're doing a public hearing on November the 19th, so if anybody has anything to say on that.
I would think we have to wait till
So we'll
Yeah.
keep it then? Alright.
Yeah. All right, so we will table that.
Yep.
till
Yep.
After the public hearing, so that's okay, everything's still?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then your. The fireman.
My what?
The fireman.
Oh. So I entertain a motion that we accept Gina Smith as a fire, is it firefighter, he or her?
It's a she.
It's a she. okay.
Person.
Fire person, there we go. So I entertain a motion to accept her onto the fire department.
I'll move.
Motion, we get a second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll have to meet her. Thank you, make sure you tell her thank you. All right. So. Very accepted your training. I think that's it. Anything else needs to be brought forward to the board? I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Motion.
All in favor?
Thank you, have a nice night.
All right, you guys
Thanks.
do. Happy Halloween.
And, what is the purpose of the executive session?
To be honest with you, I'm not really sure. I will get back to you on this right
What you say, Jim?
I asked what the purpose of it was. They're supposed to tell the purpose.
That's all mine.
That was it. I'm the one that got stuck.
Okay, all right, I'll let you, you turn that off.
Well, and I will say,
Good, you okay?
Everybody.